Now we're starting. Okay, who makes you a better you? Do you have a coach or a mentor? Who are your role models? Good morning, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow club members, and guests. Let's take some time right now to think about these incredible people in our lives. I'm actually going to pause for about 10 seconds while you take a moment to write down as many names as you can. Write down, list anyone who makes you a better you. It could be people in your life today, people from your past. They could be strangers or people you know well. Anybody who makes you a better you. Okay, go. You've got 10 seconds. Time's up. We'll come back to that list at the end when we'll discuss auditing and enriching your network of advisors. First, though, I'll explain the differing roles that coaches, mentors, and role models play in our lives. Coaches help us at the ground level. Coaches intimately understand our current role and the tasks and things that we need to do day to day to succeed. For example, a baseball pitcher's coach might tell them what specific exercises they need to do to strengthen a muscle to learn a new throwing technique. A coach is someone we trust to help us do our current role really well. Now, a mentor, however, takes a bigger picture view of us and what we want compared to a coach. A mentor understands our current role and what we need to do to succeed, but they help us step and look at what we hope to achieve in the long term. They help us understand when it's time to strive for a new role or a change. The baseball pitcher might consult their mentor, for example, if they have a big question like, is it time to retire? Should I switch teams? So mentors help us stretch ourselves, and they help connect us to resources and people and things that can help us achieve our next step of success. Now, whereas coaches and mentors are both people that we know well and that know us, that we talk to directly, role models can be people we know, but a role model can be anyone, dead or alive, a complete stranger. A role model is just anybody that inspires us. Anybody who just by being themselves and living their lives changes our thinking about ourselves, opens us up. A role model is anyone that you look at and you just say, wow, if they could do that, well, maybe I can do this then. The baseball pitcher might have a role model of the pitcher that was the star when they were growing up that they admired. Or maybe their role model is the pitcher on the other team that has a better record than them, that helps them strive to be better. So I personally have benefited from coaches, mentors, and role models in my own life. So let me share an example. About 15 years ago, when I was a newer employee in my former company, I was preparing for a presentation. Although I had given lots of presentations and done well before, this was different. This was the first time I was being invited to talk to senior leaders. So instead of scientists as my audience, I had VPs of everything, CEO and president. I had never even been in a meeting like that as an attendee, let alone presented. Thankfully, one of my colleagues who had a lot of this experience stepped up to coach me. He destroyed my first draft of my presentation. He had to teach me things like, Carrie, you have way too much statistics, way too many graphs, way too many numbers. They don't want to sit through all that. Put that in the appendix. I had to totally change my presentation style for the audience, but I didn't know what I didn't know. But my coach helped me. So I gave the presentation. I felt like it went well, but at the end, there were very few questions. Everybody was quiet. And so I walked away thinking I didn't do very good. Because when I'm presenting to scientists, if they're excited and engaged, they ask lots of questions. They all want to know more. But this was a different environment. So my coach was there also afterward to help me. He said, "You nailed it. That's great. These are busy people. If they don't argue with you about your recommendations, they give you the money you want and you walk out, you did great." I was like, oh. So coaches are there day to day to help us, especially when we're in new roles and learning new tasks in our current role. Now, I have had the benefit of an amazing mentor. I've had several, but the mentor I'm thinking of right now really helped me advance my career, my thinking of my career, because they understood me as a whole person. They knew that, and I had explained to her that although I loved science and I loved microbiology, I was getting a little bored of that and I had other interests. She knew I was pursuing a master's in organizational psychology, which has nothing to do with my day job, but I just wanted to learn. And I wanted opportunities to see what that was like in the real world. So my mentor helped me network with other people in the company, and those new connections that she provided me landed me new roles. I was able to be on teams that studied our organizational culture and helped to try to improve the process of how we engage employees for their ideas for improvement. Those projects were so fun and I learned so much. And I liked them in some ways even better than my day job. So my mentor really helped me break out of my current role and explore other roles and things that I might like. So that's what mentors do. Now, a few years ago, well, more like 5 or 6 years ago now, I hit kind of a wall in my career. I had no role models. I looked at everybody above me in the ladder, and I looked at everybody else, even in my industry and other companies. There was nobody I aspired to be. That doesn't look good. I had no role models anymore. So I became less engaged and less excited about work. And I'm usually a very engaged person at work. So I knew I had to change. Role models helped me do this. I had to step outside of my current network to find role models. I found role models are complete strangers that inspired me to take a chance to do something completely different. For example, Gretchen Rubin, she's one of my role models. She's a stranger, she doesn't know me, but I've been listening to her podcast, reading her books, and she inspired me to say, maybe I could do that. She was a lawyer, a pretty good lawyer, but she was getting burnt out and wanted to do something totally different, but didn't know what. So she just quit and took time for herself, a sabbatical, started reading and learning and researching, writing books, and she loves it now. She says it's the best thing she ever did. So a role model is someone that helps you break your mold of thinking of what's possible just by seeing someone else do it. I also found role models in the minimalist movement. The minimalists, and listening to their podcasts, and people who have successfully learned to live with less are very inspiring to me. They're my role models. So I had to learn before I could make this change how to go from a dual income family to a single income family. So I hope that helped explain some of the differences between coaches, mentors, and role models. Take out that list you made in the beginning. I recommend you audit this at least once a year. Take a look at your list and ask yourself, how does it make you feel? Is it complete? When's the last time you consulted your most crucial advisor? Have you ever directly thanked these people? I am grateful for all of the special people in my life that continually help me be a better me. And I hope you have an abundant network of people helping you become a better you. Mr. Toastmaster?